the next step is to install the camera enclosure. So also it's split into two parts. So this is the left part. How would you know? Basically, when you place it, it has a closed back. So this one should be at the back towards inside. And the black part will be in the middle. Plus, on the top side, you have a mention saying up. So this side should be facing up. And you have all these biscuits also on this side, which is not the case for the side which goes down, where you have only 2 biscuits, whereas here you have 8. So this part will be placed on top of the screen panel. So basically, you just take it, and when you place it here, you have 2 biscuits, basically, 1 biscuit here and 1 biscuit here. So if we zoom in a little bit, we will see them. So the 2 biscuits, these ones have corresponding openings on top, so you need to make sure that they fit perfectly and they get inserted perfectly in the openings. So let's carry it together and place it on top. So it has to be aligned on the side and aligned on the other side and aligned on the front. So once you place the camera enclosure on top and it's well aligned from all sides, well inserted with the biscuits, the 2 biscuits, we need to make sure that these 2 parts are well tied together. So you have 3 small size screws to place, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So you place them and you tighten them very well until they reach the end, and your camera enclosure will make one part along with the panel, the video panel. Next, you need to install this back panel for the camera. So one side is black and the other one is white, and as you can see, it has 2 rails on each side. So this one will have to slide in the black part from the opening. So as you can see, you have biscuits up and down, and these biscuits should fit perfectly in these rails. So we're going to show you how to install it. So you need to slide it from the outside and make sure the biscuits on top and at the bottom are well placed in the rail. So by pushing from the far end, from the right side, it goes all the way inside, imbricating itself into the biscuits till it reaches perfectly this edge, and no more light comes in, and it gives you a perfect black box. So this is the second part of the camera enclosure. Like the other one, this one goes on the right side, and it has a mention saying up here. So this side should be facing upwards. Therefore, the closed side, white side, will be on the right. The difference between this module and the first one is that this one doesn't have biscuits down there. So what will happen is that it's going to slide in rather than be fixed on biscuits. So this part will slide in from the right side, and the black panel rails will go into the biscuits that you see in the black part. So, to do this, we're going to carry it and slide it in, and it will be completely imbricked into the black panel and the facing part that has biscuits also on this side. So as you can see, we place first the black panel. We make sure that the biscuits are aligned into the rail, and we slide it from right to left. And when it reaches the center, the biscuits here will need to fit into the openings which is facing them. So at this point, you will need a ladder to be able to continue your installation on top of the whole structure that's already assembled. So once the 2 parts of the camera enclosure are installed, you need to get this part Basically, it's a panel that has 4 biscuits from one side and all the other sides are plain. And on top of the camera enclosure, you have 4 biscuits. So very simply, you position this panel and it has to fit into all the biscuits perfectly. And it will catch the 2 parts together. So now we need to install the 2 rounded shapes on top of the structure. Basically, as you can see, you have a short side of the circle and a long side. And they have biscuits, or the other side would have the corresponding openings. And it's mentioning D. So you need to make sure that the D is towards the middle of the structure on both parts. So this one is your right side one. So now we're going to carry this. You're going to need to use the ladders and place it on top. At the bottom, you have biscuits. You have 8 biscuits. So they need to fit perfectly inside. And this part will lean on the panel that has been installed there. We have to assemble the upper bridge, the 2 parts that will constitute the upper bridge of the whole structure. These 2 parts should be installed this way. So you have, in each part, you have a big opening, circle opening. This one will fit your speakers later. So these 2 speakers should be towards the middle. You should make sure to have the closed part towards the back. So this one will be facing front with the speakers in the middle. So that's your left side and that's your right side. They have to be assembled together before being placed on top. So we simply slide them into each other. They will this brick will get into the opening which is there. So just by sliding the 2 parts. So once the 2 parts are assembled, you will need to place it on its back sides and place the 6 screws where you have the allocated places and tighten them very well. That's from the top. And then inside as well, you have to place some screws from my side. Let's get closer. And here you have 4 screws to place. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the small ones. So you have to place 4 small screws here and tighten them well in order for these 2 parts to stick together well. So now we're going to continue installing the left and right columns. So this is the second part of the column. We're going to start with the left one. So basically it resembles the other one. The opening here should be facing downwards to fit into this one. And you'll have the round side on top. Here you have a mention that says 4. And you have the same mention saying 4 here. So they have to be compliant together. Now, what you need to do first is bring all the length of the cable that we passed the first time out, and you take this side and you remove the first rope that was installed. So basically you just remove it, and we're gonna install, we're gonna stick. So this rope can be discarded, and there is another one installed in this one. So you bring the rope, the piece of rope, and you bring back the paper tape, and we advise you to stick it this way and then stick it well to bring the cable out from the other side. So we start sticking it. Make sure that it's tight, perfectly tight, and you're ready to pass the cable inside this one. So the rope is on the other side, so we're going to catch it and bring it. Just keep it a bit above the floor, and from this side you take the rope and you start bringing it, and your cable will follow. If it gets stuck, someone will just need to help a little bit. So here it is. Okay, so now we're gonna assemble the bridge to these two parts of the columns. So this is the first one in which we have already placed the cable, and we have the second one on the other side, where we're not installing any cables for now. But just to mention it, this one mentions at the bottom number 3, and here you have a number that says 3. So this one will come here. But first we need to assemble the bridge to these two parts. Now, what will happen is the following. These two biscuits here will embed in this structure here. So here you have the corresponding openings of the biscuits that will fit into it. And on the upper part of the bridge, you have that big opening that will fit in this brick. However, when installing this side, the left side, we need to make sure that the cable gets from here and then gets out down from here. Okay? This is very important. And then we will fix the other sides. So first, so this is what's going to happen. We're going to show you how. You have to be 3 to 4 persons to do that. Okay. So I will place the cable inside, and as it's getting closer, I will take it out from here. And as you can see, we're going to slide in the brick and the biscuits into their corresponding openings. So we will need to push a bit the whole structure so that it gets stuck well together. So once the bridge is assembled on the two sides with the columns, as you can see on the left and right side, you need to place 10 screws, the long ones, 2 on top, 2 inside here, we can get closer, 1, 2, and 1 at the back, and then tighten them well. So you have 5 on this side and 5 on the other side, symmetrically opposite. So I'm not going to do it right now, but I'm going to show you on the other side also where to place the screws. So 2 on top, 1, 2, 2 inside, 1, 2, and 1 at the back. You tighten them very well so that the whole bridge and the columns are one element very well packed together. Now the next step will be to carry all these elements and place it here and on the other side. So we'll use a ladder for that, and you have to be maybe 5 people to be able to do this. And while doing so, someone should hold this cable and take it along as we place this there, so that this cable here doesn't get stuck. So it needs to be taken while it's being placed on top of the column. So as we're putting the whole bridge up, I'm taking the cable along so that it doesn't get stuck, and the two parts should be placed together so we can show the two sides what's happening. So this part, both sides should get down together so that it doesn't, go to one side more than the other. Once the structure is set, we need to fix the screws from the back. So let's get a bit closer. On each side we have 2 big screws to be placed. So 2 on the left and 2 on the right. So I'm just going to place them, and you have to tighten them very well so that this structure gets fixed to the base. And it's very well, it holds well together. So now we're going to put these frames around the screen panels. As you can see, it's all filled with biscuits, except on the lower part. So the side which doesn't have biscuits should be down. This one has a dimension E, so it should be placed on the left side where you also have E. And the other one has dimension F, similarly, and it should go where you have an F. So very simply, this one comes here. You just need to place it at the bottom first. Once it's placed at the bottom, the biscuit will fit perfectly. Sorry, this is a bit noisy. And make sure that the biscuit fits perfectly inside. And you repeat the same on the other side. So now we're gonna place this part. You have two parts similar, one that goes on the left side and one that goes on the right side. You just need to make sure that you have a biscuit on one edge and not on the other. So it just needs to match the edge that has a biscuit with the edge that doesn't. So you place it on top and you make sure that the biscuits fit with their openings, and you gently place them until they fit in well. Now this part is the front enclosure that will cover the camera enclosure. First, you need to remove the board that comes with it. This board is there to add a security for transportation during the shipment, so that this doesn't break. You need to remove it. It is initially screwed, so just remove it before installing it. Basically, it should be installed like a drawer in this part. You just need to make sure that where you see up, this should be upwards. And inside you have biscuits. So these biscuits will fit in the corresponding openings on the structure. So you simply carry it and slide it in this opening, and the biscuits will fit by themselves. You may need to be two persons because it's a bit long, and very gently you press and it will fit. Okay? And what you need to do is to put the last one here, the same way we did with the first one. Okay, so this is one of the last pieces of the puzzle. So it's a frame that has biscuits on this side and biscuits on top. This one is supposed to have a glass panel in it. So the final one would have a glass panel. As you can see, it should fit up on the upper bridge part. One side is rounded and the other is straight. So you will place the left one and the right one in their places. You need to use a ladder for this. So you simply place the biscuits in the right, with the right openings. You start with the upper edge first. Once it's in, you will fit these ones too, and you will repeat the same on the other side.